Okay, let's see how we go. All right, now we just wait to see if anyone's going to join. What's going on here, man? Hey guys, Sunday night. Thought I'd just jump on here and have a bit of a chat, see what's going on. Man, my eyes are too. I'm getting old. I need glasses. Although I've got glasses, I don't really want to put them on because that's just obviously admitting the fact that I need glasses. How are we all? Hope I've all recovered after Easter. I've got a few screens going on, so I'm just going to be like darting all over the place like a junkie. But I thought I'd jump on, answer some questions here on. Thank you very much, Craig Media Productions. You are amazing with following and sharing and liking and tagging. I really appreciate the support. So, what's this saying to me? I don't know. I can't deal with this. So I just thought I'd jump on and have a bit of a chat. I was about to do a video, which I will do tonight for the new Elinicorn. Whoo! Has that generated some hate in the comments? I didn't realize that so many people are against it. Well, not against it, but like quite negative towards it. And I thought this would be interesting to see what. There's a fire alarm going off, of course. Fuck it, I'm burning. Should I don't know. Can I swear? Maybe I shouldn't. Anyway, I just thought I'd see what people's reactions are because I've done I've done some research on this thing. I can't wait to actually get to Greece in July and go to Athens and actually see the whole site and see what's going on. I personally think it's a great thing. Other people don't. I can't imagine how it can't be a good thing for the economy in Greece, given that it's an €8 billion project. I mean, we haven't had it. I mean, and also testament on its own, it's the first ever skyscraper that Greece is going to have as well. So, if we're starting to build things like that, icons like that, I mean, surely we're obviously heading for greater stuff, bigger things as well. But I mean, people in the comments seem to be upset, seem to have different situations going on, thinking that there's a lot of scandals that have come up, bribes that are happening on build it and they will come. That's exactly my point. I honestly think the same thing. Like how the one I remember one person saying to me, they're like, someone high up in construction that I knew was like, if you want to see how a city's doing, see how many cranes are operating once you touch down in a different city, and you'll get a true understanding of how great their economy is going. Because construction is one of the first things to go. If materials are too expensive, no one's going to build. So yes, there is a housing crisis at the moment. There's a rental crisis going on, and all the new laws with Airbnb coming through, and blah blah blah. But I still can't imagine how this is going to be a negative for Greece's economy, let alone Athens. I mean, Athens is obviously booming, and it's quite interesting that now Athens have put in the short-term rental ban in certain parts of Athens, and we're in Athens as well. The southern parts that are closer to the water, not the north of Athens. They're going down below because I know that's where the Airbnbs are going to go through. But also, it comes into effect October 2025 for 1 year as a trial. But I mean, this Elinicorn thing, the first stage is built in 2026. So I think what they're trying to do is say, right, well, whoever's going to purchase, we want to make sure that they're not going to do it as an Airbnb, because obviously that's going to be a huge cash injection for anyone who buys and goes, you know what, why don't you come stay at the Elinicorn, $1,500 a night, 50, whatever it is, I don't know. The other side to that is that it's obviously not built for the average Greek, the person on a generic wage. Obviously, I mean, I think it's more aimed towards international investors. Obviously, the golden visa is going up. Already, it has gone up to 400. I think it is 400 or 500. So they're the kind of people that are going to buy the property at the Elinicorn, and they're doing something interesting. They're trying to cut back on obviously well, whether you want to believe whether they're trying to cut back on pollution or make it a smart city, or go around in buggies or whatever. I think they're trying something different. At the end of the day, Athens isn't really a place that you desperately need, a car to drive around. I mean, you can get around with public transport quite easily. It might take you a little bit longer, but it's actually quite all right. The buses, the trains, or the metro, whatever it's called, you can even jump on a papaki. Actually, a car is kind of a hindrance in Athens, to be honest, within inner city Athens. I mean, most of Greece anyway, really. So it'd be interesting to see what they do in that situation, how they're going to get people around. Someone was saying in one of my comments that they went in to have a look at the information center, and the information was saying, oh yeah, we're going to get them around in buggies. So okay, I mean, it is what it is. Let's see how it goes. The Airbnb bans, the short-term rental bans, which are, I mean, they're a ban, but they're not really a ban. But from my understanding, you had until the 1st of January to submit your place for Airbnb. And then as of the 1st of October of this year, if you hadn't submitted for the license, you weren't able to operate an Airbnb. So anyone who's still got a license or has a license in play can still continue with that. If you don't, obviously it's a no-go. But it's only in the first 3 districts. Again, mostly south of Athens. There are areas where you can operate an Airbnb in Athens. What am I looking at here? Trying to use it. No, I don't know what TikTok's telling me, but I don't want to do it. Piss off. Let me do my thing. It's bad. It's such a struggle trying to navigate 3 different screens and talk and read people's comments. Not that anyone's some people's comments in screens. Okay, cool, thanks. And then I don't know if anyone's gone live, but these things just like keep throwing information at your face, and you're like, "This is the last thing I want when I'm trying to keep my composure and talking to random strangers." All 4 of you, thank you. But and talk some sense and try and navigate what's going on, and then share this with your friends. No, piss off. Leave me alone. Let me do my thing. Questions? Anyone? Does anyone have anything to say? I mean, everyone's very loud on the comments and personal messages as well. I've heard from Greeks that are builders in Greece who have got their own opinions. They've DM me their thoughts. And look, honestly, I'm going to keep that stuff private. If you want to DM me your own thoughts and stuff, I'm not here to fight. I'm not here to argue. I'm actually honestly intrigued in people's ideas, in people's thoughts. When I started this, I started not this per se, but started investing in Greece. I very quickly realized that people always have a negative connotation about it. Oh, you get screwed over. Oh, you're going to do this. Oh, they're going to stuff you because you're Australian. Oh, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, hang on a second, man. It can't all be true, right? Like, sure, of course, people are going to screw you over. Someone's going to do something. Things happen. I get it. But like, there's got to be a way around it. People are doing it. I can't be the first guy who's bought in Greece and managed it from outside of Greece. So let's have a look at what's going on. And obviously, once you start to do things, you start to realize that pattern of behavior from certain people, and you start to go, okay, well, maybe it's not quite true. Yeah, there are pitfalls, there are downfalls, and of course, if you're not careful, like anything in life, you're gonna get stung. You're gonna get stung quite a bit over there as well. But there are ways of doing things. Thoughts on Gypseli? Beautiful place. I think it's going up. I think anything in that area is going up as well. In fact, I was just having a look at last night. There's I might not say his name, but it's a guy I've been chatting to who's currently in Athens at the moment, who migrated from Australia back there and is looking at buying stuff, and was like, what are your thoughts on these areas, and what do you think about this and that? And I had a look at Gypseli. Actually, it's kind of surprised me. I mean, any of those areas. Honestly, here's what I said to him. I'm like, my interpretation, I don't really look at the areas. I mean, I do look at the areas, but I look at the figures, and I look at sort of what rent you can make based on what you can buy it for and what your renovation costs are. If I can make $1 million out of a hole in Afghanistan, I'm going to go and buy it. Probably not. If I had $1 million, I'd be buying somewhere else. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm the kind of guy that doesn't really hear all those things. Like, I would buy something in Omonia. I'd absolutely buy something in Omonia, especially right now, because I was there last year. I didn't even realize I was there. I just sort of booked an Airbnb. I was like, this is a massive Airbnb and very cheap. And I'm like, I had a view of the Acropolis and the Parthenon and everything. And then it clicked. So with a friend, I'm like, oh shit, we're in Omonia. And I'm like, what's the big deal? Like, okay, I get it. It's a little bit filthy, but at the same time, these areas are going to clean up. At some stage, these people are going to get pushed out. I can only remember, like, gentrification happens, whether you like it or not. It's going to happen at some stage. So why not buy something now if you're not looking for an immediate return on investment? Is it bad to have land? Like, here's the other thing: how can you get property? How low can you get property for an ammonia? I don't know. How long's a piece of string? How big's a piece of string? Do you know what I mean? Like, it depends what your budget is. Depends what you're looking for. Depends what you want it for. All that kind of stuff. I mean, if you're serious, let's have a chat. DM me and we can have a proper look at things and all that kind of stuff. But I think off the top of my head, you could get a decent sized apartment for maybe 100 and something, 110, 120, 130, somewhere around there. I briefly had a look. This was gone last year as well. So it's kind of low. It's not, it's not in the mid hundreds. But then again, this was a random little thing that I did just have a look and blah blah blah. I was like, that's interesting. It could be completely different now. Uh, interesting comments on the Instagram. When he's like Toorak compared to some ratty areas in Melbourne. I agree. Well, this is what I was going to say. I'm from Melbourne. I don't know where the other viewers are coming from, but for argument's sake, I remember going to Victoria University in Footscray 20 years ago. And Footscray was like dingy. It was dingy. It was like brand, I shouldn't say it, but I mean, there was a lot of drugs from, you got the Asian market down there and all that kind of stuff, and all those drugs that were running in and out of Footscray was quite an interesting area. I remember, in fact, walking down the street one day, and one of the girls, that I didn't even really know, one about a friend of mine that I was going to school with, she was walking with a random guy. I thought, oh, that's an interesting man. And then later it came out that he had a knife to her back and no one knew about it. So I was like, oh, that's, Footscray. Now, go have a look at Footscray. Go by there. Throughout the years, everything. I mean, I lived down in Middle Park, which is right next to Port Melbourne. Apparently, Port Melbourne, you couldn't give a place away back when I first started around here, and now you can't even, could like pick one up for anything less than $1 million. So I feel the same's going to happen in Ammonia. This is what I'm saying. Like things like this Elinikon building, construction project, whatever you want to call it. I can't imagine this would be a bad thing, because at the same time, fine, the average Greek might not necessarily be able to buy in that project or that area or whatever it is, but it's going to raise things in Greece, and then other people might be able to come in and start picking off things like Ammonia, cleaning up the streets of Ammonia, or cleaning up other areas around there. And yeah, look, it's going to get expensive, but go to North Richmond, go to St Kilda, Footscray, still a crap. Look, I mean, St Kilda's literally down the road. I kind of avoid it, but yeah, even North Richmond. I mean, they're not really my areas, but I get it. I mean, Collingwood, Fitzroy, all those areas and stuff like that. It wasn't as bad. And this is the thing that I've started to realize with the Greeks. Everything's so dramatic. Everything's the end of the world. Everyone's like, oh no, this is going to happen, and this is going to do this, and da 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 da, and blah blah, and all that. Cool, man. Like, all right, well then don't invest. I don't know what to say. Like, if you miss the negativity or Mrs. Negativity about it, well then that's all you're going to say. I don't know what to say. Like, another thing that I remember saying, like, I've started to notice. Well, not started to notice, but I've noticed over the last. I agree, money does attract money. I've started to notice over the last maybe 10 years, probably a little less, but a lot of imiboya that were empty, a lot of basements that are empty. Now, I'm not saying that you should go out and buy something like that, but I remember when I first started going to buy something, my mum was like, no, we don't want imiboya, we don't want imiboya, da, 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 this and that. And I understand, I get it. Sewage is an issue. Plumbing is an issue. You generally got pipes above. You can hear other people's stuff, this and that. But also, it's not just that. It's just that plumbing is generally an issue in those kind of things. But at the same time, you can. I remember having a look at something in Thessaloniki and it was like 140 square meters or even more, and it was this 20,000 euro, and I was like, someone's going to need this. Someone's going to need this. Someone's going to be able to do something with it. Maybe not right now. Maybe not as a residential place, but someone is going to need this space. It's a huge space in the heart of the city for cheap. So I don't know. I've always gone, where there's a will, there's a way. And it's donuts. It's peanuts. It's 20 grand. Now, I'm not saying go out and buy it, but I would honestly buy something like that and just have it sitting there and go, something's going to happen somewhere down the track. Someone creates a yoga studio. I don't know. If at all it's an issue, then you figure out how to put a pump in there. Or if I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that where there's a will, there's a way. But yeah. Any other questions? I feel like a teacher. Any other questions? Comments. Man, there's some crazy comments going on Instagram. Is this Instagram? No, that's TikTok. I don't know which one's which. A lot of trolls on this. I like it. But yeah, that's kind of my situation at the moment with what's going on in Greece, and I actually can't wait to go over there and see how the construction is coming along, and if it's going to be on time, and if the people that are commenting about the allegations that are going on, or the the bribing and all that, if it's actually going to halt. Because here's the other thing: it is Greece at the end of the day. I'm not disregarding that. Um, I personally saw the metro in Thessaloniki take about 20 years to, and I'm not even joking, take 20 years. Last year when I was there, they were finalizing things. I left, I came back, I started seeing on the news that they've opened it up. So I can't wait to go back and see it. Did take 20 years. I'm like legit 20 years. Not necessarily because there's corruption and bribery and blah, 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 blah. A lot of it was because every time they dig, they just find an ancient Greek pot. So they have to halt everything and just make sure that this pot was indeed ancient Greek. And then, mate, you can't dig anywhere in Greece without coming up with something ancient. So just build the metro. But anyway, they finally figured it out. So tourism is starting to pick up in bigger areas, in areas that didn't necessarily see tourism. A lot of the times people would come to Athens, stay there for a couple of days, get in a boat and take off. Does anyone know what goes on in Melbourne with the CFMU? This is what I said to someone the other day. I was like, hang on a second. The CFMU was done last year for inside of, whatever it was, run by the bikers and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, it happens everywhere. Like, I don't understand why, and give me a country that has clean politicians. Like, tell me, show me a country that hasn't had any politicians kind of take advantage of the situation and make some money on the side. And look, I'm not advocating for it. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to be a bad thing necessarily. I think it's going to change the shape of Athens. It's definitely going to change the shape of Athens. I think it's going to bring in a lot more money into the country, and especially that city. And not only that, what's going to happen over the next 5 to 10 years is people are going to start to go, well, if we can build this here, where else can we build it? Where else is there an airport? That's not being used, that we can do that. Where else are people willing to go? You know what I mean? And all it takes is, I mean, look at the islands for argument's sake. What was a TV show that came out on Netflix a year or two ago, and it was filmed on Buxy, a little island with 2,500 people. Now all of a sudden, I was looking at places today, just out of the curiosity with my mum and one of my friends. I was like, let's just see what I've done. You can't touch anything for under 150. Like, and the things that are about 100,000 are like these stone houses at Ipia out in the middle of nowhere. Why? Because Netflix went there, shot a couple of things. Some people went there and Instagrammed it, and now it's gone up. So it just happens everywhere. Greece is such an Instagrammable place, and people want to find new and different. And I kind of feel like the areas like the islands like Santorini and Mykonos and all that kind of stuff are going to dwindle away eventually. Even Eos is starting to die down, which is a massive party island. Like, and other islands are starting to pop up, like Zakynthos or like Milos or like Paros, and now unfortunately that's the other thing. This is the two islands I got here, obviously, were Mykonos and I believe Paros or Naxos, one of the two, but I think it was Paros. I don't want to say this, but it could be a good time to buy there if you're going to buy. What are the best places to invest in Peloponneso? I don't know. I haven't looked at it. I need to do some research. I haven't looked at Peloponneso. I haven't looked at those places at all. But I can, if you're really wanting to get some information, DM me. Tell me how much you've got to spend. Tell me what you're wanting to do with it, and I can do some research for you and figure out where I would spend the money. At the end of the day, all I'm giving you is my advice based on what I've done and what I've experienced in Greece and how I see things going. Not a financial advisor by any means necessary. I'm not here to, please speak to a legal professional and just make sure that it's all right for what you want to do. But Kathy, all right, yeah. Oh, there's two Kathys. Oh my God. One Kathy's like, where's the other Peloponneso? And the other Kathy's like, yes, please. So I'll reply to, oh no, you're the same, Kathy. Oh yeah, Kalinios, sorry. There's bad eyesight. I'll get back to you, Kathy. Just DM me, please, because I do get a few of these messages throughout, and then I go a bit frazzled, and I forget. And I'm also currently getting a bit sick. And now I've lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so here's the thing. I've got a feeling and I've got a theory, and I don't want to say it because it sounds bad, but it is business. Those places that got hit with the floods, Mykonos and Paros, I think, got floods, and then Santorini got some issues with the volcano, although I think it's okay. But in particular, the flood places, I wouldn't be surprised if things start to go up on sale very soon. And if you got the money, I think it might be an interesting thing to buy, because the tourism side of Greece is going to get hit. And here's why I say that. It's an island. They obviously don't have a lot of materials. So most of the materials are going to have to be shipped in from Athens. Secondly, builders. How many places got damaged? How many builders are going to need to go there? How much workforce, how much labor force is going to need to go across to start building? And also, they're on a time schedule. They're on a deadline because it's May next week. The islands are starting to open up. Things are getting warmer. I think it's already mid-20s in on the mainland. So things are going to start getting warmer. Also, the ferries have just started going. So you need to cut all those materials from Athens, which I would assume would be the place to go because unless you're coming from Crete or Cyprus or something like that. Anyway, whatever it is, it's a ferry ride away. It's not a drive. So you need to cut materials. You need to cut workforce, labor hire. What do you fix first? What do you do first? Where do you go? Where do you start? So I dare say, and also how much is it going to cost? Because I'm pretty sure the people that are going to go there aren't going to be like, that's all right, we'll do it for a tenner or a 50. No, they're going to be like, oh, Mykonos? Yeah, I'll fix that for you. Absolutely, no worries. I'll build you a new windmill as well. It's going to be €500,000. You don't want it? That's fine. I'll go to the next guy who does want it because he's got all the tourism coming in about a month. So it's going to be interesting. And the other thing is, I don't know if people are going to have the money to build. A lot of money, maybe they do, maybe they don't want to. Maybe it's an insurance job. But I think it's going to be an interesting tourist season on those islands. And I wouldn't be surprised if some properties start popping up because they're like, you know what, it's actually just not worth it for us, or could be a blessing in disguise. We've collected our money, whatever, or we're ready to let it go. But that's one of the issues, I think, and in particular with building on an island, because I was in Galimos last year, which for those people that don't know what Galimos is, where the original sponges come from. It's right next to Leros and sort of near Turkey, that side of things. It's a beautiful island. Not many people, I mean, in the thousands still. A lot of tourism, but local tourism as well. And it's actually one of the islands that works over winter as well because they get a lot of rock climbers that go there, obviously. So you got all the summer tourism, then you got winter tourism. It does die down for a few months in between. But yeah, I was talking to the hotel and he goes, yeah, we're pumping. And I remember seeing a lot of places that were being built, slowly and slowly. And my friend who's a local there, her whole family was there. And it's like, oh yeah, that's Jimmy's, that's this, that's that. They're waiting on this from Athens. They're waiting on that from, they're waiting on that from Tinga. I was like, interesting. I'm like, so they don't have any materials on an island. So if you want to build on an island, it's going to take you a while. It's probably going to cost you an arm and a leg because everything's going to come over from a ship. I'm like, people don't realize that is also an issue when you're building on an island. So, but again, that's the dream. If you're willing, why wouldn't you? I definitely want to. I mean, who doesn't want to wake up one day and overlook the waters of pick a freaking scene in Greece? I don't know. It's a beautiful time. But yeah. I'm going to say I am also in Greece in July. I'm renovating my new place. I'm turning a shop, converting it into a loft apartment. Hopefully, I think I've got the measurements right. We'll see how we go. But I am going to record all that and show you guys and I'm also going to renovate my first place as well. So I hopefully will record all that and show you guys just so you know that I'm not lying, that I actually do have property and that I somewhat do know what I'm doing with it. But I can't wait to show you guys that. I am also running around looking for properties for people that have gotten in touch with me. Some in Athens, some in Thessaloniki. So if you are interested in actually buying something and we do communicate and we go down that path, I'm more than happy to have a look at some things, within reason. I'm not going to fly all over Greece, but if I'm in an area, if it's in the main areas, then I'm more than happy to go and have a look at stuff. And, we can figure things out and go from there. I also do manage properties. I mean, I manage my own properties in Greece. So if you do need a management team over there, I do have my team of people, and I do work with local real estate agents as well. So please get in touch and we can obviously organize all that kind of stuff as well. And if you are looking at buying something, please do it. I just do it. Just do it. It's the best advice I could give someone because I personally can't justify getting into the property market in Australia at the current rates. I'm a single guy in my late 30s, working a fine job, making okay money, but I just can't justify locking myself down for 30 years or whatever it is at almost 6%. What's it at the moment? 6 point something, 5 point something, maybe. Okay, fine, but still, and you know, needing 10 or 20% of what, 700,000, 500,000, unless you want to go and live 45 minutes out, which I don't. So, but it's interesting because I bought my first one in Greece for 19,000 euro, all up, signed and paid for, all up 19,000 euro. I took out a personal loan from ANZ. It was 40K at the time. And I remember like fixing it up. I think it cost me another 10 grand to fix it up and just renovate it and get it rolling and started making money off it. It hasn't been empty since. In fact, I just kicked out like the tenant yesterday. I was like, listen, you got a couple of months because I'm going to come back in July and we need it, blah, blah, blah. But rents have gone up. I want to renovate it and I want to, tack on an extra 120 euro a month to the already, whatever it is, 300, which is pretty empty. It's pretty low for what I've got it in the area I've got it at. But I'm starting to lose my voice, as you can tell. I think I've come down with something. I feel like winter's coming, which means it's time for Greece. So I will get in touch with the people that message me about everything. I'm going to go down and put down a video so I can pump it out for tomorrow, hopefully, about the Ellinikon building. Why I think it's a good thing. Honestly, thank you to the supporters and the followers and the people that have subscribed and, like and comment and share and all that kind of stuff. I honestly didn't know if this would be worth anything to anyone. I was actually very hesitant to start this whole business. I just would help friends out. I'd give them advice, or I'd put them in touch with my lawyer or my accountant or whatever. And someone was just like, listen, man, why don't you just do this for a job? No one else is really doing this other than a lawyer or something like that, but you've actually got first-hand experience. So when I see people subscribe to me, which blows my mind that actually someone wants to watch me, or people get in touch, or I can actually help some people. And I've had really good conversations, long conversations with people. I'll get on the phone and chat for an hour about things. I love shooting the shit. I love going back and forth. I don't know everything. I'm learning as well, but this is my experience. I'm giving you guys what I know, which helped me start my property portfolio in Greece, and that it wasn't a hard thing to do. It wasn't a treacherous time. I didn't get screwed over. There were things that I got hit with that unless you've gone through it, I don't necessarily think you can. Hey, Bubba, come here. Cooper, it's my little dog. I got a little sausage dog. Let's see if I can. Come here, my man. This is Cooper. Unless you've been through it, yeah, sure, you don't know what to expect. But it wasn't. It hasn't been a bad time. I've even had to kick out a tenant. One of the first tenants ended up being a heroin junkie. I had issues there, but again, like a lawyer got rid of that. It was the threat of a lawyer and all that kind of stuff. Like it, yeah, you're gonna have issues just like anywhere, but it can, you can go through with it. It's not that hard. It's just knowing and understanding what you need to do, when you need to do it, and understanding what can pop out. I've also put a list up on the socials of all the areas in Athens that are affected by the Airbnb ban, the short-term ban. So if you are looking to find out exactly the areas, I've got it up on there. Get in touch with me, either on the socials or through the website, buyinggreece.com.au. I now need to feed this guy and give him some cuddles and some time, and I need to jump off this as well. It's always been an interesting trying to end the stream here, but thank you so much, guys. Have a good night.